Dakota Johnson's love of high fashion sometimes leads to outlandish choices that feel wildly inappropriate. And when she's making the rounds on the talk show circuit, her outfits do more talking than she does. When Dakota Johnson appeared on The Late Late Show with James Corden in 2022, her dress immediately became the subject of conversation. The 50 Shades of Grey star wore an eye-popping red Magda Boodram minidress, with serious emphasis on the mini. Despite the show airing at 12:35 a.m., it was a little too mini to be appropriate for CBS. While nodding at her short red dress, Corden asked her at the start of the interview,
"Are you alright? Are you worried? You're alright? I think it's alright. Is it alright? Do you want my jacket?"
Johnson had an assured and witty response regarding her revealing choice of clothing, delivered with her characteristic deadpan wit. She told the host,
"It's nothing nobody hasn't already seen."
During a 2016 appearance on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, Johnson's outfit looked more like bedroom attire. The dress/nightgown was sheer and pink with a cartoonish golden bow and pink collar, courtesy of Alessandro Michel's Gucci.
Also, this phone matches my dress, so.
A watchword for Michel's time at the Italian luxury fashion house was maximalism, and it certainly applied to this look. It was an inappropriate mix of high-end and dressed down. That said, turning up to a talk show in a luxury version of something you could wear to bed is certainly a fashion faux pas. We know it's a late-night show, but that's the time it airs, not a dress code. Johnson and Michel are friends outside of work, so perhaps Johnson was just helping the designer promote his high-end clothes. Not that he needed it, considering he tripled Gucci's revenue in his time at the company. As will become increasingly clear, Johnson is sheer clothing's #1 fan. On The Late Show with Seth Meyers in 2025, she did little to suggest otherwise. She wore a Nancy Dojaka black sheer midi dress over a form-hugging bodysuit. She looked a bit like a goth mummy, and the outfit was a little too risque for a late-night talk show. Sheer is an interesting material. For some, it's provocative, but for others, it's as normal as a white t-shirt or blue jeans. Whichever side of the argument you fall on, the all-seeing nature of the fabric means it might be too revealing for a talk show appearance. In a 2025 appearance on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, Johnson at least acknowledged that her ultra-short mini dress/blazer was a little raunchy for the occasion.
"This is the wrong outfit."
Ever the professional, Johnson took the awkwardness out of the situation by teasing Fallon. She quipped,
Just don't.
My eyes are up
Just
here.
don't move.
The Ferragamo-designed look accentuated her cleavage and was primed for a nip slip, which Johnson narrowly avoided. Not for the first time on a talk show, she was playing with fire. The dress continued to interrupt the pair's chatter throughout the interview. When Johnson asked him if there was a problem, Fallon awkwardly replied,
"Tell me if there's a problem."
Right now, there's not a problem.
Okay.
There's almost a problem, but not quite.
Fallon then offered Johnson a tissue to cover the pear-shaped slit in her dress, but it was only a short-term solution for Johnson's long-term inappropriate outfitting problem. In a June 2024 appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Live, which isn't actually live, Johnson had an actual wardrobe malfunction. By now, it should be clear that Johnson is prone to the occasional fashion mishap, so taping Kimmel's show was a smart decision from the producers. When one of the floral straps that ran across Johnson's shoulders came loose, Kimmel asked the actress if she was all right. Johnson replied,
I'll just hold it.
Soldiering on, Johnson kept her hand against her left shoulder for the remainder of the interview. Although her Bottega Veneta dress was appropriate, the fact that Johnson suffered an inappropriate wardrobe malfunction is not very surprising. Unfortunately, you'd expect more when buying from a brand that sells dresses for upward of $2,000. In a 2023 interview with Elle UK, Johnson talked about what she looks for when she chooses her outfits. She told the outlet, "To go out into the world, do hair and makeup and wear an outfit to look a certain way, it's super jarring. So to wear clothes in which I feel like myself is vital. I feel like, okay, this is a version of me." These are words she clearly lives by, as she showed with her more casual look on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert in 2016. There's an unwritten rule that requires women to dress up on talk shows, but Johnson is a rule breaker. If the previous look on this list was Johnson dressing like a CEO, then this look is her dressing like the CEO's receptionist. However, the proceedings were far from professional. Johnson sipped tequila with Colbert, and he announced,
"All of this is going to be cut out. CBS will not put any of this on TV."
In fairness to Johnson, it was the Met Gala the night before she appeared on the show. At the annual Fashion Bonanza, she donned an extravagant starry Gucci dress and left at 1 a.m, so perhaps she wasn't in the mood to dress up again. This inappropriate outfit wasn't Johnson's or her stylist's fault. It was whoever manages her schedule. What did Dakota Johnson wear on Late Night with Seth Meyers in 2024? It was, of course, a revealing black sheer dress. A little too revealing, one might say. This time, the dress was designed by fashion's premier provocateur, Tom Ford. Johnson was at 30 Rockefeller Plaza to promote her film Madame Web. In the Spider-Man adjacent flick, she plays a clairvoyant.
Did I die?
If only she or her stylist had similar powers that instead perceive how inappropriate an outfit is. To ensure some modesty, Johnson added a black bodysuit beneath the garment, but it was still her revealing dress that made headlines for being daring, as people put it. In an earlier appearance on Late Night with Seth Meyers in 2017, Johnson looked ready for her big day, and by that we mean her wedding day. The dress featured long sleeves with a keyhole cutout at the neckline that flowed right down to Johnson's feet and has silver block-heeled sandals. The look comes from Sonia Rykiel's pre-fall 2017 collection and made Johnson look like a 70s-era bride. Throw a sepia filter over this talk show appearance, and you wouldn't look twice if someone told you it was a snapshot from a distant relative's wedding in a family photo album. It's surprising that Johnson decided to wear a pearl-coloured velour wedding-style dress, but hey, at least she didn't wear it to someone else's wedding. But some fans certainly seemed to dig the look. One person said in the YouTube comments, "She's wearing a lovely dress and she's so cute." But wearing a wedding dress while not at a wedding is like wearing a football jersey and shoulder pads to play chess. It's just unnecessary. If there's one brand that screams glamour, it's Gucci. But there's a fine line between glamorous and gaudy. Dakota Johnson fell into the latter category with her bright red 60s-style Gucci dress from their pre-fall 2021 collection, which also featured ruffled cuffs and sequins. Unlike many of her other outfits on this list, this one was not too revealing or provocative. The issue was one of taste, or lack thereof. While appearing on The Late Late Show with James Corden in 2021, Johnson said this regarding the dress.
I got really excited to leave my house.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
So I just brought out the big guns.
In the midst of the pandemic, the average Joe was likely to be seen in leisure wear, like sweatpants and even sleepwear, or a button-down shirt with sports shorts in a Zoom meeting. In this context, dressing like a woman at a cocktail party in the swinging 60s probably isn't quite appropriate.
Yeah, baby! Yeah.
Another pandemic-era look from Dakota Johnson came during a socially distanced chat on Jimmy Kimmel Live in May 2020. In their backyards, Kimmel wore an uncharacteristically disheveled-looking button-down shirt and unstyled hair. Johnson, on the other hand, wore a bright pink dress with huge puffy sleeves.
It's hard to wear this. It smells like feet.
Does it really?
Yeah, I think it came from like a bizarro runway somewhere, and
Bizarro is certainly the word, and the internet seemed to agree. One ex-user wrote, "And only one of them is wearing their pool floaters as a dress. Maybe Jimmy is too." Perhaps for both comfort and the effort to remain tasteful during a pandemic, Johnson could have taken style cues from her 2016 appearance on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert and worn something a bit less extravagant. It certainly would have been more appropriate. When arriving at the Jimmy Kimmel Live studios in Los Angeles, Dakota Johnson performed a stunning fashion transformation. The quintessential Johnson outfit is a high-end dress. However, not to be pigeonholed, she performed a surprising style about face. But like any style transformation, this came with risks. In Johnson's case, it came in the way of another inappropriate outfit, which would seem to be her Achilles heel. Below her Bottega Veneta cat's eye sunglasses, she wore a toothpaste-white Kate suit and Gucci Signoria slingback pumps. It was all a little much for an arrival at a talk show. Johnson's look was more suited to the boardroom than a brief stroll into a TV studio.